All right, hey guys, my name is Logan Marquez. I've been climbing for about 6 years. I've learned a lot about climbing ropes in that time, and I'm going to spread some information to you guys. All right, so the technical term for climbing rope, which nobody uses, is called a kern mantle rope. That's because the rope has two parts to it. That's the sheath, the mantle, or the core, which is the kern. Except nobody calls it that. So if it'll focus in, that white part right there, that's the actual core that runs through the rope. And then the sheath is what protects that core from things like abrasions, dirt, rubbing against the rocks. But the sheath is not what actually like the outside of the rope is not the actual part of the rope, I consider. It's the core that houses all the strength. Just for your information, to preface this, 1 kilonewton is about 100 kilograms of force, or 225 pounds. Yeah, 225 pounds of force. And a climber rope is generally rated for 18 kilonewtons of force applied to it, which is something that's far beyond what any human can do. At least for a climber rope, you don't have to worry about the fall being what kills you. No, I shouldn't say that. So we have a couple types of ropes. I have 2 dynamic ropes right here, and then 1 static rope. So the dynamic ropes are going to be the ropes that stretch and absorb the falls. So when you have the impact of a fall, the rope is what takes that impact and not your body. Which is the exact opposite of a static rope. On a static rope, if you try to lead climb on a static rope or take a big fall on a static rope, all the force of the impact of the fall is taken by your body, and generally that leads to your spine breaking, which is not good for ascending hard. I'm going to say this again in case it's the only thing you hear. Only climb on dynamic ropes. Generally a static rope I'm only going to use for things like camera lines or hauling, just because they're easy to ascend and pull things through. And I will never use it for like climbing unless it's like a top rope and I don't have another rope. That's a whole other thing. Don't worry about it. Just don't. If you're buying a climb rope for the first time, you don't even need to worry about this. Just dynamic ropes. When you're buying a climbing rope, you're going to be hit with a couple things. That's going to be rope length and rope size or diameter. They come from 60 meters, 70 meters, and 80 meters are generally the most commercially available. And then for size, they're going to come in 8.9 to 10 millimeters is like a general range. Size I don't think matters that much. I generally go with a little bit thicker. I stay in like the 9.6 to 9.8 range. If you're trying to maximize something like speed and efficiency, you might go with something like a 60 meter 8.9. The problem with a smaller diameter is you'll probably end up replacing the rope over a shorter time compared to something like a thicker diameter, which probably lasts a little longer. It also depends on how much you use it and what you're using it for, which will add or subtract to the longevity of the rope, but we can get into that in a second. Yeah, length doesn't really matter for longevity of the rope, but it does matter for how much it's going to weigh. I generally stay with 70 meters. I think 70 meters is a really good middle ground for both. I haven't really needed an 80 meter that much. I've been able to get away with it. And 60 meter can sometimes be short for a lot of routes. But 70 meters seems like it's like the perfect balance of both. It's not too heavy compared to the 80 meter, but it's also not too short for all the activities that you want to do. So yeah, if you want your rope to last as long as possible, I generally say treat it like a person. Don't you want to leave it in good conditions. Don't leave it in your car. Don't just step on it. Don't keep it clean. Keep it away from chemicals and occasionally wash it if it gets too dirty. Also, after every trip you do, give it a little look over. Make sure there's nothing like cut or there's no bendable parts in the rope. I generally check over the rope as I'm coiling it. This thing needs to be recoiled anyway, because I did a terrible job. So as I'm coiling up the rope, I'll just take it and look at the rope and kind of run my fingers along it. As I'm checking, I'm also going to be looking for little points of the rope. I'll take it along, kind of bend it. But yeah. if you look at the rope here, I'm going to take it and try to push it together like this. If they bend really easily and it kind of just folds in and it feels like there's nothing there to protect it, that means there's something that could be wrong with your core. Either it's severed or it's a weak point. It basically means you don't want to be using that part of the rope because it's not as reliable. Also, I'm going to be looking for any exposed parts of the core. If you could see the core, that means the rope is core shot, and you don't want to be climbing on the rope. So yeah, as I'm coiling it, I'm just taking arm's length of rope and just throwing it over my shoulder. At first, you might be a little slow, but it's just something that happens over time. You can get faster and faster, and it just becomes more fluid. Oh my goodness. That needs to be washed. That's kind of gross. Alright, so once I have probably 6 feet of rope at the end, I'm going to take it, make one small loop, and another small loop. I'm going to take it off my shoulders, and then I'm going to start wrapping itself. So I have my small loop right here that I just made. I'm going to start wrapping itself, and I'm going to go towards itself. I'm trying to do this while looking at the camera as well. Then I'm going to take it, the end of it, stick it through that small loop that I made. Oh my goodness, can you guys even see this? Through that small loop that I made. And then I'm going to take the other end of that small loop and just pull it through. If I can find it. I think it's this one, yeah. So it'll catch itself, and then you'll have a normal size loop, or kind of normal size loop when you're done. And it's nice and coiled. It's easy to manage. It'll keep your rope in better condition because it's not all tangled up. You can just throw it over your shoulder and walk with it, or hang it up. Yeah, I'd say store a rope. It's like the basic way of storing a rope. So yeah, I think those are pretty much the basics of climbing ropes. If I missed anything, or you guys need me to run over anything, or anything you think I should add to the video, drop a comment, let me know. And if not, then enjoy climbing. See you guys later.